Summerween, everyone. It is Brenda here for Stamplicity, and welcome to our Boo Bash series celebrating Summerween. All right, so it is Halloween in summer. All right, hopefully, you've enjoyed our lives during your lunch hour. We're going to continue on today. We're going to take a little different approach to this one. Yes, we're still celebrating Summerween, but it is Lawn Fawn release day, and they have the cutest little ghost die that works with their new interactive die that I had to show. All right. So I'm going to show you two ways. I'm going to show you a typical Halloween card. All right. Not so much a Summerween card. I really want to show you how to use this mechanism, this interactive die. All right, so we're going to make a real Halloween card up with this one, and then we'll switch gears to the Summerween, and we're going to use the same ghost, but we're going to do that Summerween spin to it. All right, so two cards for today. Because it is an interactive card, there's a few more steps to this one, but let's get started. So I'm just going to make a full screen here, and let's go. All right, so let's first talk about this die. Now, please excuse the die that I have. It's been well used, and the reason being is that we're using it in one of our events coming up, North Pole Express Demo Day. So for those that are attending that day, or if you are thinking about it, we're going to be actually doing this interactive die because it's so stinking cute, and it's just really fun to do. And it's one of those, I think works best when it's a hands-on approach to figure out how to do this. All right. So this is called the Big Hugs pop-up die from Lawn Fawn. And now we're not doing the bear part of it, but this is the initial die that you are going to have to buy to get the actually interactive die, this one here. All right. This one here is the pop-up one, and I forgot my sample at the store to show you what this is. And I've done sneak peeks of it, so hopefully you did see it. But basically, this is going to be an element that's going to go on the inside of your card, and as the recipient opens it, this character that's inside, his little arms are going to come out from his body like he's giving you a hug. It is super cute. So this is the interactive part of it. This is like the body of it. And then you're going to decorate it. All right. So this one comes with the bear. In our North Pole Express demo day, we're going to make it into a polar bear, but you can make it into a black bear, a brown bear, a teddy bear, whatever you choose. But that is the bear part of it. And then Lawn Fawn is going to have these great add-ons for this one. And I will tell you, the ghost is what we're using. And then there will be some Christmas ones coming out as well. I can't reveal what they are, but super, super cute. I've asked the Lawn Fawn team that we need to have a little T-Rex because I think it would be just so cute with his little arms coming out. But that was, I don't know if they will do a T-Rex because dinosaurs are not in Lawn Fawn's repertoire, but it would be really cute to see. Anyways, so what I have done is I'm using this die and I've cut the base out of this. And I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to go step by step on how to do this. All right. So this is a die. It's called Big Hugs Pop-Up. And it's from Lawn Fawn. And it is released as of today. All right. Okay. Oh, there's a great picture on the back. Maybe I should have showed you that. So as you open it up, all right, so this is like it's partially opening. You can see where his little arms are. And then as you keep on opening that top flap up, you can see his arms are now extending. It is super cute. Wait till you see it, guys. All right, so that is what we'll be using. So, and then we're going to pair it up with, like I said, we are going to pair it up with the new pop-up ghost or Ghost Hugs. Big Hugs Ghost. And this is going to fit on that interactive element. All right. And he is so cute. All right. So we've got the main body. We've got his little ghosty arms. All right. We've got little rosy cheeks here if you choose to do that. And then we've got a bow so you can make it into a girl if you'd like. Oh, you can make it into a bow tie too. I never even thought about that. That is super cute as well. And you can use this on the interactive die, but you can also use this independently as well. And that's what our second card is going to be for our Summerween theme. We're going to be using this cute little ghost just as is, all right, not as the pop-up element, all right? So I wanted to show you that you can use this in both ways. All right, so let's get started with our Big Hugs Ghost and our first card here. So I've got the elements already pre-cut. So look at how cute he is when he's cut out. Oh my gosh! All right, those are his little ghost arms. I need black to go fill in behind his eyes and his mouth. So that's just a scrap piece of black cardstock. So in addition to this, there is a brand new die, scripty die from Fawn from this collection. This is called the Giant Hocus Pocus, which I thought was really great for this Halloween themed card. So I have cut that out, and I've cut it out a few times, and I'll explain why. So I have that. Then I don't want to show you the rest of it because that's for the other card. Then what I have is my card base. So before we get into the interactive element of this, I want to put our card base together. So to do this card, we need a top fold card in portrait style. So that means normally when we have an A2 card, our fold is normally on the left-hand side here, and it opens as a side fold. But for this interactive die, we need to have a top fold. So in order to make that, it's very simple. Usually we take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and we would cut it in half at 5.5, and that's going to give us our two side fold cards. To do a top fold one, you're going to cut your paper instead of this way. When it's sitting horizontal, you're going to turn your paper portrait style and cut it in half at 4.25, then score it at 5.5, and that's going to give you your top fold card. All right. So I've done that with black. I've done a top fold black A2 card, and I'm just going to crease my score line nice. All right. So that is my top fold. That is what we're going to need for this. Then I have components or layering pieces to put on the front and the inside, because the inside is where our interactive piece is going to be. So we want to decorate the inside. We want to make sure it's finished and polished. All right. So I am using this paper from Fawn, and I'm not sure where it is from. What collection? 1 second. I believe it's last year's Christmas paper. It is all the sparkles. And I'm using it in whatever the gray part is. Unfortunately, I cut off the logo strip, so I don't have that. But it's in the paper pack, all the sparkles. What I loved about it is that gold foiling on there. All right. So on the one side, it's got that gold star foiling, which I thought was good for a Halloween, and then a stripe on the back. So I've done it in the dark gray. They also have a new fall harvest paper from this collection, which is stripes and polka dots, which would have worked really well, but I liked the gold on this, and that's what I've chose. But you can use any Halloween paper. All right. So I have 3 panels here. All right. So on the front of my card, I took a gold panel, trimmed that to 4 by 5.25, and then I took this pattern paper. We're going to use the stripes on the front, and then I cut that to 3.75 by 5. We're going to layer that all together. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I want to get the base done first, and then we'll get into the interactive part. All right. Now you could go ahead and inky edges on here if you wanted to. I'm choosing not to. So because of the interactive element on the inside, that is kind of the wow factor of this card. So I want to keep the front kind of plain and simple. I don't want to take away from the interactive element that's in the inside, which is kind of a surprise when the recipient opens it. So we're going to keep it really kind of plain on the outside and then have that wow factor on the inside. All right, so I've got that stripe on the gold, and now we're going to put the gold on the front, making sure that when we glue this on, the top is where the fold is. All right, so that we're just going to frame in. All right, so our front of the card is done. And now we're going to go into the inside. Like I said, our interactive element is going to go in here. That pop-up ghost is going to go in here. So we want to finish up on the inside. So that's where these 2 sheets of pattern paper are. And this one, I did use the gold foiling. I thought that, this is the showstopper in the inside. So let's, have the paper that is the stopper as well with that gold foiling. So I've cut 2 panels of this foiled paper, and this is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to frame in on this black card. All right, so the front, the top, and the bottom with a nice black border. So let's glue them down, and then our card base is done. So one is going to go framed in the top inside piece here, and then the other one will go at the bottom. And again, any nice Halloween paper would be perfect for this. This is what I just had in my stash, and I just thought it would work perfect. All right. So there is my card base. We got the stripes on the front, and then we've got that lovely kind of gold star in the inside. All right, now before we get into the interactive part, let's go to our Hocus Pocus. This is what's going to go on the front. I'm going to keep it simple with the Hocus Pocus. Now, my worry was that I trimmed it out of, or die cut it out of the gold mirrored, and I thought that it just kind of get lost with the stripes, and it needed to be popped up. And so I didn't want to use small foam adhesives and cut them into little strips, because that's just finicky. So a nice little tip is just use a thick cardstock. This is a 100-pound cardstock, and I cut it out of twice. And I'm going to layer these together. We're going to glue these together, and then this one on top. And then this is going to elevate it enough to give it some oomph, all right, and not get lost in those stripes, all right? So we're just going to glue these together. So I'm going to start with the gold one and just adding some glue, dots of glue here and there. And we're just going to exactly match these up to the ones that I've cut up. All right, so this is just a great way to raise up something without the foam adhesives, and because this is such a fine font. All right, and then we're going to take this, and again, liquid glue is going to be your friend, because you're going to have a little bit of shimmy time, and we're just going to match this up. Now, you could also do a shadow effect as well. So if you wanted to do a shadow effect, black would have been probably the better option, and then you just offset it ever so slightly. But because I'm not offsetting, I am just matching this up. All right, and then we're going to do this one. This one I'm putting the glue on the front, and then I'll just lay it all over top. So just little dots of glue. This is where your fine line glue, whether it be a precision glue press or Barely Arts, the art glitter glue with a fine tip. This is where it comes in handy. Those little dots. All right, so now I can go ahead and place this on. Again, I can shimmy because it is liquid glue. It gives me a few seconds before it really sets. And now I have, that's got a little thickness to it. So now it just sits on top of that stripe and doesn't get so much lost because there's a little bit of dimension to it. All right. So there's that. And then I think, I might just put a few little gems or see what kind of embellishments I have that might be Halloweeny that I can put on there, but keeping it plain. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. So just a few dots here and there. All right, I am going to put this at an angle, and I'm going to push it closer to the top, almost centered top to bottom, but a little bit closer to the top. All right, and I'm just going to flip that upside down, give it some pressure. And now our card front is ready for our little ghost. All right, so there is Hocus Pocus. All right, there's our card front. All right, let's put that to the side. And let's now make our little ghost. All right, so should we shade him a little bit? Now, I'm not going to worry about shading, but if you wanted to shade him, you could do the same technique I did on day one of our Boo Bash week. And you could take a light blue, a light gray, a light purple, go around the edges, and then kind of go up along the little pleats of the ghost, I'm going to call them, to give it a little shading. I'm not going to worry about it this time. But what I am going to do is cut a little piece go behind the eyes. Now, the actual die of this set will have that piece. All right. It is this piece here. It looks like a little car shield window or windshield window. And you could cut that and that would fit behind there. I'm not going to bother with the die cutting. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors and trim a rectangle that will fit behind there. All right. Cut that just a little bit shorter. All right. All right, now our little ghost has eyes and a mouth. All right, so there is that. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. We're gonna leave his little wings. I was gonna call them wings. His little arms. We're gonna leave them right there. And now let's go to our little mechanism. All right. So my tip to you when you die cut this, use 80-pound paper or less. All right. Now, if you use 100-pound, I'm not saying you can't do 100-pound, but the 100-pound or 110-pound is almost going to be a little too bulky for this. Remember, this is a pop-up element in the inside of your card. So the heavier the paper, the more bulk you're going to create on the inside. So this is 80-pound paper. Even 65-pound would work as well. Okay, so I'm going to consider this is the top, all right, where the little tiny tab is, all right, and then you will see that there are score lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 score lines that run horizontal. On each of those score lines, you are going to fold away from you. All right. So I'm going to fold and crease as I go. All right. So you will know the good side of your die cut, and you're going to fold away. All right. So little mountain folds on all of these ones, and I'm using a bone folder to crease them. All right, so I have all 5 creased and they're all away from me. Okay, so all mountain folds on each of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now we're going to go into these there's little score lines, these little triangle ones, all right? So the best way I can tell you to do that, and this is the way I do it. All right, so we're going to work on this fold here. So I'm going to grab the 2 pieces here, and then I'm going to use my fingers to kind of like start creasing that, pinching those little ones. All right, again, these are going to be little mountain folds, all right? We're folding them away. And once that starts to take shape, that little triangle, then I'm just going to fold it down and then use my bone folder to crease that, okay? So that's going to make his little arms got to get tucked in, all right? So again, I'm going to show you that. So I have it away from me, all right? So furthest away. And then I'm just going to hold both sides, and then using my fingers, I'm just going to kind of start pinching along those little diagonal score lines. And then once, you know, the paper knows to bend that way, then I can really fold it down and then use my bone folder to crease them. Okay, so I'm going to go through that again. All right, so we've got our piece here. There are 5 score lines. You are going to fold them away from you. All right, so mountain folds on each of the horizontal score lines. Once you have that done, then we're going to work on these diagonal ones. So I always work on the one furthest away from me. All right, this one's the closest. I'm going to work on the furthest one. I'm going to hold both sides here, and then using my pointer finger and my thumbs, I'm going to start pinching along those diagonal lines until the paper knows to bend that way, and then really crease it. Use your bone folder to crease them, and then flip it to the other side and do the same way. Again, give that paper a little pinch along those diagonal lines and then fold them down. All right, so that is going to be now that. All right. So we're going to keep our little arms tucked in. And again, we're going to flip this to the back side now. All right. So on the back side, you're going to see the little tips of his arms. And then you're going to have this band. And then we have this angled band. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to put tape along in this rectangle here. So I'm just going to grab my highlighter. All right. So it's the bottom section, and you're going to put tape along there. Don't go past the score line. So I'm going to put 2 runs of tape here, and double-sided tape is going to be your friend for this. All right. So you want a good, strong double-sided tape. This is the Lawn Fawn tape. You can use the Summerween Be Creative tape. And we are going to put 2 lengths of tape on that rectangle piece, not the angled one, but on, oops, the rectangle piece. All right. We don't want to go past the score line. All right. So now I have that on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that piece so it's facing me now. All right. And we're going to take those backings off. And I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to just do it this way. I think it'd be better on camera. I'm going to have it facing away from me, okay? Not closest to me. And then we're going to fold this, not on the line where it kind of meets the arms there, but this line here. So which would be the second score line. You're going to just fold that up, all right? And that's going to attach and make the body part of it, all right? That's a pop-up, all right? So again, I have my little prototype here. All right. So what we've done here is we put tape along here and then just folded this piece up. All right. So tape along here and then fold this piece up to create this little kind of blob. All right. Blob with a tab on the top of its head. Okay. All right, now we're going to put tape on 2 elements here. All right, so we have this facing, this is the right way. This top tab, we are going to put tape here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to put 2 runs of tape again. Again, don't go past that score line. It doesn't need to be fancy. All right, don't take the backings off. All right, so there's that. And then you're going to flip it around. And then there is like kind of this mushroom shape. All right, so this here, this area here is where we're going to put adhesive. We're going to put 4 lengths of adhesive across there. Do not go past the score line. We do not want tape here. So this is the back side, and this is this little mushroom shape. So we're going to put 4 lengths of tape on here because we really want this secured. This is what's holding it to the card. So it's that little mushroom shape. Again, this is the front side. You'll be able to tell the front and back. All right. So this is the front side. On the tab, you're going to put the top tab, you're going to put tape on there. You're going to leave the little backings on there, and then you're going to flip it over. And then on that mushroom shape, you're going to put 4 lengths of adhesive. And again, you want to use double-sided tape. Don't be silly and put glue because if your liquid glue, if you're an over-gluer and it glues out, it squishes out, you're going to tape, you're going to adhere your card together and it won't open, right? So that's why it's really important to do that. All right. So now we're going to open our card. We're going to bring our card in here. And we've not taken the backings off of this one either. We want to get perfect placement first, all right? So we're going to take our little element here. We're going to make sure that it's all flat. The top of the tab here is with the adhesive on the front. And you're going to line this piece right up to the score line, all right? All right, so, and you want to center it left to right, all right? If you need to measure it out, that's fine. I always like to double check that my card will fold, all right? I'm going to hold this in place and I'm going to take the backings off. And then I am just going to fold that down, give it a little burnish, and now that tab is in the perfect placement, all right? All right, now we're going to flip this. All right, so our tab is on there. We're going to flip this over. We're going to take the backings off of this guy now. And I'm just going to flip this over to the back. All right, and give it a little burnish. And now when you open this up, there is our little mechanism with the big hugs. How cute is that? All right. Now you might have to open it a few times just for those arms. They may get caught, but the more you work it, the more those arms will work as well. All right. How cute is that? Now the decorating part. Now this is what's really simple to do. We're going to just open this up. And so you will notice that the ghost head will kind of line up with the curvature of there. So I am just going to put some adhesive. I'm actually just going to put adhesive right on this body here. And we're going to glue this guy on. All right. All right, there we go. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my gosh, he makes me smile. All right, now the little arms that are on here, these are not ghost arms, all right, but they are the little arms that are ghost arms are going to go on. So what we're going to do is you're going to put a little bit of adhesive, and the top of the ghost arms are straight edges here, right? And the little straight arm are the edges on the top are straight edges. So you're going to put adhesive on there and then just tuck it in until it won't go no more, lining up that top edge. And that's going to give you the perfect placement of his little ghost arms, all right? So if you find it easier, if you want to put a little bit of glue on this arm, and then stick this in and line up. It's really easy to do. It's always awkward the first time you do it. All right. But don't push it in any further. As soon as you hit that little, it will like stop it. Then that's where it has to go. All right. You're going to do the same thing with this one. I put a little bit of glue. And then as soon as it hits whatever is hitting in the inside, you're just going to stop and glue it down. All right. So let's take a look now. His little ghost arms. How cute is that? All right. So there is our little pop-up. Now you can have a little greeting on there. You can put another little greeting on here if you wanted to. But this is going to be where I put my, oh, maybe I'll put my signage here. But how cute is that? Oh my gosh. You could finish this up with whatever you like. If you had little bat die cuts, they'd be cute in there as well. For this one, I didn't put the bow on. The next one, I'm going to put the bow on. But how cute is that? Oh my gosh, he just makes me it makes me smile, so happy. Oh my gosh. I love this one, right? Like just, oh, I could do this all day, guys. But I know your time is precious, so I'll put that one away. But there is the Big Hugs Ghost by Fawn as the interactive. All right. But I wanted to show you how you can use this die as a standalone die. All right. So maybe you don't want the interactive element and you want to just use that as a focal for the front of your card. All right. So this is where our Summerween is going to happen. We've picked a nice little floral background on here to make this kind of into a summer-ish card. All right, so I've cut the ghost out. We've got her arms. I got the bow, and the bow has the little bow knot as well as a layering. Okay, and then I selected the Hey Boo from the first from our first series from that Hero Art set. So I did do that. What is her other little cheek, her rosy cheeks there? Okay. So this one's just going to be a card front. So for this here, I used the Lawn Fawn. They have a postage stamp one as well. This is called the Postage Rectangle Stackables. Now this one is similar to the Spellbinders I've used. It's a little bit different. So this one here has the stitching on that postage edge. All right, and then you just cut a rectangle to fit on top of it. All right, so this one here, I just chose a nice, I think this is Lawn Fawn paper too, if I'm not mistaken. It's from my stash. I just thought it was nice and summery, but a fun little floral. You could definitely use that stencil we used in day one as well to create a lovely little background, but I like the pink on there. That just screamed kind of more summery and not the traditional Halloween. So I just cut a panel that's going to fit in amongst that stitching detail on our postage edge. And we're going to center that in. All right, so there is that. I think I'm going to do a little bit of shading on this one just to show you. So first I'm going to grab my ink. That's what I'm going to do. And a blending brush. Okay, so again, I'm just going to use a very light blue. So I'm choosing tumbled glass, but like I said, you can use a light gray, light purple, anything that's really light just to create that shadowy look. Again, I'm going to tap off. We want this really, really light. And I'm just going to hit the edges. Again, I probably went a little bit darker. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. And this is just creating a little shadow effect on our ghost. You don't need to do this. It just adds a little bit of texture. So on these little kind of pleats, as I call them, I'm going a little bit heavier on them to create more of a shadowy look. And I'll bring this up to the camera once I am done. You could do this with a marker as well, a very light alcohol ink marker. Just bringing up my shading just a little bit more. All right, so there we go. You can see the little bit of shading on there. All right, so what I'm going to do also is I think I'm just going to do a little bit of shading around the eyes and the mouth, just ever so faint. All right, now these are the pleats. So I'm going to do the same thing as we did on day one. So I'm just going to kind of go over. Now it's a little bit easier to see these pleats because that's there, that little cut line there. So I'm just running my brush over top of those kind of cut lines to emphasize those pleats. All right. I guess we should probably do his little arms as well. All right, so the arms, we don't do too much with them other than just give it a little bit of shading around the edges. So these are really quick and easy. Excuse me. My voice is going. Quick and easy die cuts and really simple cards to make because the die cuts are so large and they're really got an impact. So, all right, so we've got that all done. Just clean up my ink. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach the arms on. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along the vertical straight edge there, and then we're going to just kind of tuck them in. And you can put them at different angles if you want. All right, so there is my little ghost. All right, we're going to take a piece of black, and again, I'm just cutting a rectangle that's going to fit behind here. You could use the die, the interactive die, the main die. They have that piece that looks like a little car windshield piece. You can use that to die cut it out. I find it just as easy to cut a piece of black scrap to put behind there. All right. How cute. The shading really adds to it. I just see that on the camera and it's, wow, that's amazing. All right, so we're going to put that to the side. Let's make the little bow. So the bow consists of the bow part and then the little knot. So that little knot just goes in the center here. And then, like I said, I cut out the Hey Boo from We All Scream. I think what that die was set, I forget now. But it's the first one I used on Tuesday. And then I just used the same pink as the bow and a little bit of black in here. So we're just going to put this Hey Boo together really, really quick. All right, and then the word hey. All right, we're just going to let that glue dry before I do anything else on that. Okay, so we got hey, we got boo, we got the bow, we got the ghost. All right. Look how great this is going to be on our front of our card. All right. So you could put this on a wobble. I still have not found my wobbles. This would be really cool because then it would do that little shaky shake. And I wish I had wobbles because that would be very, very cool. But mine are not available. All right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of give this a little bit of shape. All right. We want that kind of domed effect for this. So I'm just kind of taking it and using and kind of just bending it. We don't want to crease it. And I'm going to bend these ones. All right. So we're just going to shape. Now, if you have a bone folder that's got a tapered edge like this is really a great way because it's like curling ribbon when you do this. If you don't have this, then you can take anything that's, cylinder shaped, a pen, a pencil. This is my pokey tool, and you can just wrap it around there, and that's going to give it some shape too. And then you could do the same thing. Is you can just use that to help with the bending of the paper to give it that little kind of domed shape. All right, so I like having dimension on my cards, as you know it. All right, so you can see that I've got a curvature and then the little arms are going the opposite way. All right, so they're curling up, and then the ghost body is curling down. All right, so okay, now we're going to put this on there, and I want to keep that dimension. So this is what we're going to do. I am going to I can grab my foam tape here. Now I have a roll of foam tape, and that's what I'm going to use. If you have the squares, that's fine. All right, so on this center part here, I'm just going to cut a length here. Now, depending on your thickness and how thick you want this, you can decide. I'm going to triple thickness this, only because this foam tape I'm using is not as thick as my regular. So I have just folded this in half, and then I'm going to fold it down one more time. And that's going to give me a triple thickness foam piece. All right, I'm going to take the backings off. And this is going to go right down the center, which I have just a little too much here. All right. Then on either sides here, I am going to just put one length of our foam. All right. So if you're using your foam squares, you can either double it in the center, all right, or triple it. All right. So that means one foam square on top of another foam square. And then on the outer edges, you can either use glue or just one foam tape. All right. So that's going to create that domed look. All right. And I think I'm just going to put, because I have this piece here, I'm just going to put just a little piece on the wings here, kind of butt up against it. And that's going to help for this ghost to hold its shape. We did all that shaping, right? So let's, do you need to do that? No, you could attach this flat if you wanted to. It's okay. I just like to mention. All right. And like I said, we are going to put this at an angle. And I want to leave enough room for our hey boo. So when you put this down, I'm going to put the middle down and then let the sides fall. And now that will not flatten when you put it in an envelope. It's maintaining its 3 dimension. All right. Now, if you wanted to, you could put foam adhesive behind the wings, but I think, or the wings, the arms, but I think we're okay. Okay. Then we're going to put our, oh my gosh, the bow. Super cute. All right, we are going to put the bow on top of the ghost to make it into a little girl bow. But like I said, you could put that as a bow tie, which I think would be very nice too. So I'm going to put this to the left-hand side. Oopsie. You could put it in the middle if you wanted to. I'm going to put it to the left-hand side. All right, we've got the little bow. Once that glue dries, then you can kind of fluff up the ends of the bow. All right. Oh, so cute. All right, and then we're going to put our little hey boo, and I left enough room in the bottom corner to do this. All right, so I think, do you want to do, I always like to look on camera. It's a different viewpoint, hey boo, or do we want to put it at an angle? No, I think I like it straight. And the other option is we can do that, but I don't think I gave myself enough room. So, okay, so we'll do this. I am going to pop up the boo part. We're going to stick this in that bottom right-hand corner. And then the hay, we might as well pop that up too. I don't think it's that difficult to pop up. All right, and there we go. Oh my gosh, super cute. Hey, Lou. All right, so I don't think we need any more on here. I thought maybe flowers, but I think that's going to take away from the background, but super, super cute. Yes, you're going to need a little bigger envelope to put this on. You could tuck the arms in more, or don't even put the arms on there. So you do have different choices on that. But it's just going to be, if you stick those arms in a little bit, or the arms in a little bit more, it would fit on the A2 card no more, no problem. And I just extended them out as much as I could, but you can definitely push them in to fit it on that A2 card and then into an A2 envelope. All right, so that is the Big Hugs Ghost by Lawn Fawn for our Boo Bash series. How cute! Oh my gosh. All right, so let me just say, so this is using the die as a standalone die, which is great. I think this would also make really great shaped cards as well. All right, so you could cut two of them, make a shaped card. It would also make great tags. It will also make good little popsicle stick puppets. Honestly, like I could go on. Because the sizing of this is great. Great embellishments for your layout pages. And oh my gosh, how cute would they be if you decorate for Halloween? If you're having a Halloween party, you can make a cute little garland with this. Oh my gosh, would be super cute as well. But that is the Big Hugs Ghost by Lawn Fawn. That is the die. And again, it is meant to go with the interactive Big Hugs pop-up die, which is this die here, which is mine is a bit of a mess, to make that interactive one with the little pop-up ghost, with the little arms that pop out as well. All right, so that's today's little inspiration for our Summerween series, Boo Bash Week, Boo Bash Week. All right, we will be back tomorrow. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I forgot our little rosy cheeks. I got to put them on. We will be back tomorrow at noon. And tomorrow is Spellbinders. All right, Spellbinders just came out with a brand new rub-on set called Tricks and Treats. I'm going to show you how to use it with some of their cut and emboss folders that are relatively new. And we're going to do things of all sizes. All right. So cards and I think a tag, and just showing you how to use, oh, we're going to make little postage stamps as well for your envelopes. Oh my gosh, so much to do. And there's our little rosy cheeks now. That really finishes her off nicely. All right. So lots of things to show you tomorrow. It will be a jam-packed hour with lots of inspiration. So don't miss it. And again, you can find these on the replay on our Facebook page. They will last there for 30 days. And then after that, you can find them permanently on our YouTube channel, all right, which is Stamplicity Paper Art. So make sure you follow us. All right, everyone, thanks for joining me, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bye.